Okay, so today is World Mental Health Awareness Day, the 10th of October. It doesn't matter if you're watching this today, in 3 weeks from now, or a year, but the point is the same. Me and Evan McNiff, aka Soup to the Soup Bomb, decided to make this cool video. It's a bit different to what we're used to making, but we said we were going to give it a shot. It's time to do our bit, so hopefully it will be entertaining, educational, all at the same time. So sit back, relax, and think about what we're going to talk about. So, as any of you who watch my YouTube channel already know, I love bikes, and that's my interest. And I think that everyone needs an interest because without an interest, that's when problems start arising. Like, for instance, in my case, I have done all the things I've had to do, but I get out on the bike once at the weekend, and that makes everything grand. So that's where I'm coming from with this. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is, no matter what it is, if it's fishing, if it's rowing, if it's skiing, find yourself something to do. It doesn't have to be a sport. It could be playing chess. It could be walking the dogs. Just something to engage your brain and get you thinking and get you active and get you out there. Because hanging around, chilling out all day is not good for your mental health. Okay, so what we are doing. So I have wrote a script because I want to pack as much info into this as possible. I tried to do it the other day, free-minded, but I was missing out on some key points. So I've decided to write a script going off the advice of behind-the-scene cameraman, a boy Soupie. And why? Simply to raise awareness around the topic. If it gets conversation going, then it's a success. Success. I'll be touching on a few topics, but the main ones will be anxiety and bullying. But first, we'll start with a few sick feeds, man. So, what is mental health? Mental health to me is what goes on inside someone's head. Whether it's good thoughts or bad thoughts, different feelings like stress, disappointment, frustration, anxiety, or hurt. We all have these thoughts and feelings, and we go through them at some point in our lives. I think the key to this, well, at least a strong starting point to helping ourselves and helping others with our mental health, is raising awareness around it. So the first topic I want to talk to you about is anxiety. So anxiety is defined as a type of fear usually associated with the thought of threat or something going wrong in the future, but can also arise from something happening right now. And that's from Mental Health Ireland, the website. So, for example, say you want to join gymnastics or anything it is you want to do, but you are a bit worried about going to the first class and you get this uneasy feeling in your stomach. This is anxiety. But then you gather the courage and you go the first time and realise that it's actually not as bad as you first thought and ended up really enjoying yourself. The next time it's on, you may still be a bit nervous about going and get these feelings of anxiety again, as it is still all new to you. But remember, the last time you went and it wasn't that bad, so now this time it'll give you the courage to go again. Before you know it, it becomes a routine and the feeling of anxiety becomes less and less. That's because as we grow, we learn from experience. But you have to be brave and you have to have the courage to try these things at least once. If you don't like it, that's fair enough, but don't let your anxieties get in the way. Like, look at me, for example, with my videos. The first time I posted a video, I was worried I had anxiety because I never done it before and I didn't know what to expect. I suppose I was worried about what people might think, which is completely natural, and a lot of people get anxiety about it. But then I said, Anto, let's be brave. So I made the decision that I was going to go post it. So I did, and I realised it's fucking grand. So I made a second video and a third video, and now here we are 56 videos later, and I'm standing in front of this camera talking to you about this now, which is another great example of why people get anxiety about, talking in front of cameras. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we all have to start somewhere. To be brave, battle your anxieties, because everyone has them. So go out there and try everything until you find your interest. So my personal opinion on this, well, I think we all experience feelings of anxiety. It's whether we know how to control them or not is what determines how bad they are. Now, I understand that there are some people diagnosed with serious anxiety, but the same rules apply to everyone learning coping mechanisms, or in other words, how do we manage these thoughts and feelings? Now, everyone will have different ways of coping with stuff, and I can only speak for myself on this one. But I use my bike as my release and my getaway from the hustle and bustle of life. When I'm feeling down, I say to myself, right, Anto, you need to go for a spin on the bike, and this allows me to clear my thoughts and get them good feelings going again. This allows me to overcome stuff that's going on in my life. For example, I genuinely believe only for the motorbike I wouldn't have got myself through college. I was When I was super stressed about assignments and worried about exams, it gave me the time and space to get away for a while where I had no choice but to be focused on what I was doing, because let's be real, I could fall and break my leg. But the point I'm trying to make is you need to find an interest, something you love to do, something that occupies your mind and makes you feel good. That will be good for your mental health.
Hello, I'm Evan McNiff, the person behind the camera. What I want to talk about on my section of the video is about bullying and anxiety and the effect it can have on a person's life. A good example of feeling anxious. In my experience, I feel anxious when I'm walking on the footpath and a big lorry comes past, but when it passes, I feel better because I reassure myself that I'm safe because I'm on the footpath. A good example of being bullied would be when someone older and maybe bigger than you keeps tormenting you and won't leave you alone. I think sharing your problem is very important because if you keep everything inside, no one will be able to aid you in the problem you may have. So it's very important. Like Anto said, a problem shared is a problem halved. I think schools all over the world should educate their students about mental health as soon as they start first year, because it's at that stage of life young people can be very insecure and worried about what the future holds for them. You don't know what goes on in people's minds, so it doesn't cost anything to say, "How are you today?" because they may feel they have no one to talk to, and once they realise that you are there for them, it can make them so much happier. Bullying is a major issue in schools, especially in secondary schools, and I know that from experience. For example, people call me Eva McSniff, but I just brush it off me because it only affects you if you let it. It just shows what kind of a person they really are if they are bullying you in any way, shape or form. Don't listen to them, because if you ignore them, they will get bored and realise they can't get to you.
There's another important topic I want to talk to you about briefly while I have your attention, and that's bullying. This can happen to any one of us at any age, and we can very easily do it to someone else. No one wants to be bullied, so just listen and think about the stuff that I'm going to talk about next. Bullying. So, bullying is defined as an intentional negative behaviour that is repeated and is directed against the person that has difficulty defending themselves. In other words, not being treated the way you would like to be treated. There are many different types of bullying, and it can happen in many different places like school, on the road, on the estate, in your sports team, even on the internet, which is called cyberbullying. The most common forms of bullying are Verbal, which is persistent name calling which hurts, insults, or humiliates. So, like calling someone a bitch every time you see them. Physical, so like pushing, shoving, kicking, including assault or threats of assault and damage to property. So, if someone keeps pushing you on many different occasions in the schoolyard, or if someone keeps telling you they're going to kill you after school. So, gesture, so threatening gestures or glances that signal threatening messages. So, like this, if someone's sitting in the classroom looking across the classroom like this, that can be seen as a form of bullying. Do this in front of the camera to show bollocks. Right. We just keep going with that and you can cut it out, right? So, gesture. So, threatening gestures or glancing signals that give threatening messages. So, looking at across the classroom at someone like this, that can be seen as bullying. So, exclusion is another one. So, socially isolating, excluding, or ignoring someone. So, not letting someone join in like games in the schoolyard or something. Extortion. So, forcing another person to give away their property or money. So, bullying causes anxiety and distress, which can cause mental health problems if not sorted out. Bullying can make someone feel like poo, so always think about how you may be making other people feel. It might be funny to one person, but it could make the other person feel like shit. So think about how it might make the other person feel. So bullying or just messing. So ask yourself, are both people happy? Number one, ask yourself, are both people happy? Number two, did the person being teased ask the person to stop? Number three, has this happened more than once? Number four, is there an audience? Number five, does one person have more power over the other? If you answered no to the question 1 and yes to question 2 to 5, then it may be bullying. So if you are watching this video, think about this. Ask yourself, if I say or do this, how might that first person think or feel? How awareness is the point here I'm trying to get across. So just because you don't know what goes on inside people's heads, so just be mindful. So just to finish up on the video with my personal opinion. So I think it's good to hear the words mental health a lot more lately, and people are talking about it more than ever. But mental health can range from serious conditions to simply controlling your thoughts and emotions, and in other words, how you think or feel. If you are aware or just these two things, how you think and feel, then you will be a lot better equipped to being more aware of not just your own mental health, but the mental health of people around you. It costs nothing to be kind, and time is the best thing you can give someone. So stop, talk to people, and simply ask, how are you today?